So when Danny and I first got together, I was 20 and he was 21. And he came from like an average sized family. He's got 2 sisters, and then I just have a sister. So not super large families, but for whatever reason, I always wanted a larger family. I wanted like more siblings. And so when we got together and we got married and we started talking about the future and like what we wanted to do with regard to kids, I felt like I wanted to have more. But then as the years went on and I just saw how much it took to live, and things are so expensive and kids are a lot of maintenance. They take just a lot of your time as well. I decided that I'd be okay with not having any kids, or if I did have kids, I just wanted one. And I've kind of felt that way for, gosh, like maybe like 7 years now. And Danny's always been like, he's always wanted more kids and been the one that has definitely been adamant about having kids. I was kind of like, I could take it or leave it. I could be really happy with one. I could be really happy with none. So, but we knew that we wanted to wait a while. There were some things that we needed to accomplish first before we had kids. So, and then when it got down to trying, I went off the pill in January of 2017, and then we started kind of like, because I went off it in January because my doctor was telling me that when you're planning on having kids and you've been on the pill for so long, that it's a good idea to go off the pill for a few months before you start trying, because your uterine lining needs some time to build back up. So we didn't start, I say trying, but like we weren't preventing it as of May 2017. So I totally was convinced that I was pregnant in October of 2017, but I wasn't. I missed my period when I first moved here to Seattle. And that was very atypical for me, because when I was on the pill, my period was like clockwork. And then when I got off the pill, it continued to be like clockwork. When I missed it, when I moved here, I was like, I'm totally pregnant. Like, it happened. But all the pregnancy tests were negative, and then I finally got my period the following month. So, wasn't pregnant. And so our plan basically was, we didn't want to press it. We knew that we had time. We were both healthy. We didn't have any reason to think that we couldn't have a kid. So, I feel like it's really bright. So basically, we just want to let things take its course, because in my opinion, when you are trying to have a kid, that is just the biggest mood killer. So I just feel like the goal was just to kind of like live our lives, do what we're gonna do, and just not think about it too much. But obviously, like, I'm not in the pill, we weren't using anything else, so it could happen, and we wanted it to happen, but we wanted it to happen naturally without even really putting pressure on ourselves and thinking about it. So then I wound up getting pregnant in November, but I didn't find out until early December. I think it was December 8th when I found out. 8th or 9th or something. For some reason, that date's in my head. But basically, I had started getting period symptoms a week before I was supposed to. Which, again, is not normal, because my body, like, I know my body really well, and it's very, very scheduled and routine with regard to periods. So a week before, my boobs were like exploding. Like, they were just massive and painful. And then I was getting cramping, which I don't normally get unless I'm starting my period that day. And I knew it was too early. And obviously my period never came. What else? I made some notes. Bloating, I was sensitive to smells, and I was peeing a lot. So one day I got off work early, and I went to get my Starbucks like I always do. And there was a Target right across from the Starbucks where I was at. And so I decided that I would stop in a Target and get several pregnancy tests. But I didn't get different brands. I was gonna get 4 boxes of the clear. Squeaker thinks that every box that comes in this house is meant for her. And every now and then there'll be like a crash that like scares the hell out of me because like I'm here alone, Danny's at work, and it freaks me out. Anyway, so I like the clear blue just because it says pregnant, not pregnant. So they come 2 to a box, and I was gonna get 4 boxes, and then I was like, okay, slow your roll, get 3 boxes. And then I was like, well, if it's negative, then I'll just have some on hand because obviously like I'm gonna need them in the future. So I didn't tell Danny that I was gonna buy the pregnancy test. I had been telling him that I was having these symptoms, that I was like, I could be pregnant, but I was like, I'm probably not, because the last time I thought I was pregnant, I wasn't pregnant. So I wasn't even gonna like make a big deal about it. So I took the pregnancy test back home. Danny was already home. He was in the living room at his desk, but I didn't want him to know that I bought him. So I went straight to the bathroom and took a test. Set it on the counter, and I was waiting. And I felt like, I was like, okay, don't just sit there and stare at it. Like, let it do its thing. You know, don't focus on it too much. But then I happened to glance at it, and it was earlier than I thought, because I had heard that if it's positive, it'll come back positive sooner. So it came back positive pretty quickly, and I was just in disbelief. So I looked at it, and when I saw pregnant, because I just glanced at it because I was sure like it was still gonna be like it wasn't gonna be done yet. So I glanced down, it says pregnant, and I do a double take because I'm just like, where's the not pregnant? Like, surely it says not pregnant, but it said pregnant. And I was gonna like find some really cute way of telling Danny that I was pregnant if I was pregnant. But I ruined it because I literally yelled, holy fucking shit. And he heard me and he's like, what's wrong? What is it? And he said he thought that like there was a bug or something in the bathroom. So I was like, well, it's ruined. Like, the surprise is ruined now. And I just needed somebody to like see the pregnancy test. Because the way I was going to tell him was like, it was December and my favorite Christmas movie is Home Alone. Okay. And there's this part where the uncle's like, look what you did, you little jerk. And so I was going to like come up behind him and say that line to him. And it was going to be like low key and chill. And that was how I was going to tell him. But by that time I had already yelled and I just needed somebody to witness this. So I'm like, get in here. And he comes in and I'm like, look at this. And he was like shocked, but like had a really, really happy look on his face. And I was kind of shaking and I was like, oh my God, like, I don't know that I ever thought that it was actually going to happen. I was just in disbelief. And it's funny because like that night we had made reservations at this place called Kel's Irish Pub that we've been wanting to try. And I was like, had it in my head I was going to try a Guinness. But obviously I couldn't now. I couldn't try one then. So I wound up getting root beer, which I never really liked root beer before. That's the start of like the pregnancy food stuff. But yeah, so we went and we were just like talking about like the fact that I'm pregnant the whole way basically. And then like when we were there, we were talking about how this will be our last holiday with it just us, and that next Christmas we're gonna have a baby. I told close family. I took the rest of the pregnancy tests in one weekend. They were all pregnant. And then I came home, immediately just started Googling baby stuff. I downloaded 5 apps and just started immersing myself in baby stuff. Even though I was really, really early along. Well, I told my family right away. I wanted to wait as long as possible to tell the people that I worked with, especially my supervisor, especially my coworkers, but you know, my supervisors I would tell first. I wound up telling my supervisors around 11 weeks because my fatigue was so bad. And I had started being late to work and like missing some work, and I didn't want to get fired. So I went ahead and told them. And then I told the rest of the group when I entered the second trimester. And then I wound up quitting at 20 weeks because I just, well, for a lot of reasons. I mean, I wasn't like really satisfied in my job. just in terms, I mean, like the people were fine, the company was good, but just with the job itself, it wasn't where I wanted to be. And I was pregnant and I didn't have to work, so I just quit. But my initial plan was just to take off work for the second half of the pregnancy and then for the rest of 2019 and then go back to work in 2020. That was the initial plan. And then we started talking about me going back to work part-time and then Danny have a couple days work from home and then only have someone coming into the apartment to watch her 1 day a week and get security cameras and everything. But then things changed with his job. And now he's in a job where I don't have to work like at all for the foreseeable future. And so the plan is that I'm gonna stay at home with her until she's kindergarten age. And then in the meantime, I'm gonna try make videos and maybe people will watch them. Maybe have some other business ideas, become a business owner of some kind. But if none of that works out, then when she's kindergarten age, I will probably go back to work. Because I do have a college degree and like professional certifications and everything. So when she is in school, if I don't have anything going for me, I want to get back into a career. So that is the plan.